Wait, so it's RNG? Oh, look at that. You?
Entering standby mode. I hope nobody disturbs me.
Hey, this reaction is directly from Twitch, so follow me there if you want to join the fun. You may also know me from my previous channel, GoDog Chain Talk. You can also donate to me on Ko-Fi if you like my funny edits and reactions. Thank you, enjoy the video. What's up YouTube, welcome back to another Genshin Impact reaction video. This one being Lynette Hangout event that we got in this update, which apparently I have heard very high praises about, people claiming that it's the best Hangout event we've had since the start of Hangout events, which is a big thing to claim. And also I've heard it being compared to Baldur's Gate 3. If any of you have played that or checked it out. I don't know what them saying it looks like Baldur's Gate 3 means exactly, but we'll give it a go. Hangout event Lynette. Checks and cats. Here we go. A decision, go to the area near Hotel de Bois. What for? Is that Lynette? With the little kitty, and suddenly it's daytime? Meow.
Meow.
Oh, she meowed too. Approach stealthily.
Oh, it's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode.
She always does that. Is someone out to kidnap you?
Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Bois for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the successful opening of a show, but it was draining my energy. So, I waited for the right moment, then snuck away so I could switch to standby mode.
They send someone to find you and bring you back, but why?
Probably because I'm playing the lead role in the show.
The lead role?
We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film, and after it finished, they all started clamoring for me to try out acting for some reason. Even Lyney was chanting along with them. Anyway, it just so happened that a director called Mary who had sent me an invitation right around then. I'll spare you the details, but basically, I ended up accepting it.
So this is a dramatic debut of the magician's puppets. Huh.
Yep, you nailed it. I'm playing the role of a puppet. In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet, and it's a masked mime show.
Oh,
so
mime.
I don't have to do any facial expressions or say any lines. The director says it's a very avant-garde art form.
Avant-garde.
Being the center of attention is draining.
That
so
too.
the moment they left me to go harass the director instead, I was out of there. The other thing is, some weird things happened while I was on the stage.
Meow?
Sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation.
I take it Bonnie's your pet cat?
No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away.
And you've already named her.
Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a liking to the name. Haven't you, Bonnie?
Meow indeed. For once, you weren't able to use Lyney as a human shield.
It's fine. He got Furina to make me a little something for just this situation. Poof! A photometer.
Alright. That's the gadget we'll get.
The way it works is, I pick a card at random, then look at the number on the card.
And how does that help you make a decision?
If the number on the card is 5 or higher, I help Bonnie find her owner. If it's less than 5, I go back to the reception.
Is this shit like the dice rolling mechanic? Seriously? Sure.
Here, take the photometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate successfully changed.
Oh my, it is.
Anything lower than 5 is a fail.
It really is. They really put RNG into the Hangout.
Changes everything.
Crazy. Your current check bonuses will be added to your random draw number. And it's got the buffs too? Really? Okay. Right is always right. Pick 3 from the right. Let's see. Fuck.
Back to the drinks reception. Nope, I said it was your decision. I'm not gonna waste any more energy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bonnie! Bonnie! No! Bonnie's gone. Literally 42 seconds later.
Wait, where did you get the cat?
Oh no. She brought the... Bonnie's there!
Maybe you could leave her with us. We'll take her to the reception desk and see if they know anything. And if not, we'll just keep looking. If it's no trouble, I mean. Could we maybe get an autograph?
Huh.
And maybe a photo too?
Leone, you can't spring that on her now. Not while she's working.
Too late.
Director Mary is looking for you. We'll take the cat to the front desk now. See you later.
You're so popular.
I'm not usually required at these kinds of events, so I don't even have an event mode.
You better invent one.
Spectacular choreography, a masterpiece of mise en scène, and the performance, oh my, groundbreaking.
Yes, I for one was particularly captivated by the clearly allegorical narrative undertones.
Oui.
The
Oui,
lost
oui.
puppet shines a spotlight on the impact of technological advances in our modern society.
I can already see the headlines of tomorrow's newspapers. They will certainly be singing your praise, Director Mariu.
Ah, there's
But
Mario.
it was a group effort, of course. To convey emotions in a silent show with no facial expressions, the entire cast had to go above and beyond. Everyone truly outdid themselves.
Speaking of the cast,
Friendly
Gillian,
reporter.
another strong performance from you in director Mariu's latest show, as of course we've all come to expect from your numerous successful collaborations to date.
That's quite an overstatement. I've only ever played supporting roles.
On that point, you stated a few months
Excited
ago in an
reporter.
interview that you were looking to secure a leading role in your next show. What led you to the decision to stay in a supporting role this time around?
We had a discussion about this, and while Lynette hadn't previously performed in an acting role, we were blown away by her talent, and she was a perfect fit for this character.
Right. Did Gillian want that role, though?
Exactly. I was honored to share the stage with her.
I
Lynette
don't
worked
know.
extremely hard in all of the rehearsals, and she's an incredibly talented actress.
Maybe she wanted to play it. Speaking of the cat.
Oh, Lynette's back!
Hey, Lynette, where have you been?
Were you in standby mode?
Oh.
Some reports say you switched that state to recharge after a show.
Oh god. Lynette doesn't have the energy for this.
Ah, method acting, of course. Such a compelling portrayal of a mechanical puppet could only be achieved by an actor who lives and breathes their role even while offstage.
No, she's just always like that.
The ostensibly bad acting, in reality, was the product of supreme acting
No,
skill.
like I said, she's just like that, people.
This show looks on track to break box office records for avant-garde theater. Lynette, any words for the fans?
I believe Lynette is trying to say that the
No, she's not trying to say anything.
Right, exactly.
But don't you want the fans to know how you're feeling right now? After the hugely successful opening of your first ever show?
Oh, is she? Is she gonna do the... Ah, yes. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I see.
That's true.
I'm sure the fans would love to learn a bit more about you too.
How interesting.
Insight. Observe Lynette to see how she's doing. Oh, for a 10. Since this card failed me last time, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from the right. Easy. Lynette's voice was so deadpan during the interview. She sounded like an auto-reply robot. Hold on, Lynette has only just finished performing. She needs to recharge. You and Lynette struggle to keep up, miss.
Lynette, Director Mariu would like you to join the group photo to commemorate the successful opening of the show.
Okay.
Alright then.
It's better than an interview. It's just a
See you in a
photo.
minute.
3, 2, 1, smile.
My thanks
Can I see
to
it?
each and every one of you here for your
I can't
help
see
in
the
making
photo.
the lost
Okay.
puppet a success. The group photo is already being printed as I speak.
Mariu! Get over here. Let's have another drink. There's a few things I need you to glance over for me.
Sorry if this is mean, but Maloney is such a funny name. It's just one letter off from baloney. Go to the second floor to pass the time. Oh my goodness. Huh? Okay, a Furina appears out of nowhere in the wild. Hey, Furina.
Hotel de Bour's Ile Flottante is as
Furina.
wonderfully sweet as ever.
Furina, you managed to get an invite to the drinks reception too.
Traveler?
Lynette? Oh, wait, hold on. What do you mean, managed to get an invite? I'm an expert in the dramatic arts.
She's
Of
here for the
course
cake
I was
and the
invited.
dessert. So then, what did you think?
Remarkable, and a very worthwhile artistic endeavor. Exploring a character with no lines or facial expressions who can only communicate how they feel through their movement.
I mean, that's pretty much how old TVs were too, before they had sound, so.
Your performance was beyond anything I could have imagined, Lynette. Clearly, this was a very suitable role for you indeed.
Not suitable for her socially.
Basically, I think I'd give it a positive review overall, just not as gushing as the crowd downstairs. Maybe it's because I came to the show with some preconceived expectations. I did happen to see the original draft of Mary's script a while back.
Well, then you kind of know what was gonna happen.
What original draft?
Oh? He didn't show it to you? It must have been a few months ago. He came to me to get some advice from an experienced performer's perspective.
Yes.
And then asked if I could write a few reviews of his new play.
Oh.
I had a lot on my plate at the time, so I had to turn him down. I only skimmed a few sections, but they seemed quite different from the final version. I can't say I remember the plot, but the protagonist just seemed more complex, I guess. Especially in the last two scenes. Still a mechanical puppet on the outside, of course, but she seemed to have more emotional depth.
Was the
on
old
inside.
script reserved for Gillian's original script?
Change of topic. I see you've escaped the crowds to seek refuge on the second floor. Fame can be overwhelming at first, can't it? Perhaps you'd benefit from hearing about the experiences of a veteran celebrity such as myself.
No thanks, I'm good.
Nope.
Hey, at least let me finish.
She
I
just
have
wants to
top
flex.
tips on dealing with belligerent reporters, slipping away to hunt down snacks during the intermission.
Like you're doing right now.
Tell me everything.
First, take a seat, mon ami. We must partake of Hotel de Boer's fine desserts as we talk, lest they go to waste.
And you know, your signature, your favorite cake. Furina's gone.
The photo must be in this envelope right here. It's finally over. Thank you for sticking around for so long.
No problemo. When you left the event midway, what was the real reason?
While I was on stage, there was a moment when I felt like someone was looking at me. It was only for an instant, and I didn't even see who it was. But somehow, I knew it was a look of contempt. I got a vague sense of it again during the reception, like someone was giving me an evil stare, but I couldn't figure out who it was.
It's not Gillian, is it? Like she's jealous of your role or whatever? Could it have something to do with the original script Furina mentioned? Maybe someone's jealous of you. You did land a leading role in your first show. Biggest suspect is still Gillian.
Okay, problem solved. I'm gonna take this envelope and go home now.
Oh, why is the investigation music up again? God, I haven't heard this in ages. Lynette's envelope. You heartless puppet, you ruined this work. Hand over the role of the lead actress immediately. Oh, a threatening letter in the envelope? What? It's a threat letter.
You have destroyed this work of art. Step down from the leading role at once. Based on the tone, I'd say threat letter is right.
This is far more serious than a momentary stink eye. We need to get to the bottom of it. Examine the letters to see if there's anything amiss. Neither of us recognize the handwriting. It's messy, perhaps to cover their tracks? Or maybe this person just had a messy handwriting.
I don't think we're gonna find any more clues here.
Shall we ask Mariu what he makes of you have destroyed this work of art?
Yes, let's. Whatever destroyed means, it could have something to do with the original script that Furina mentioned. Also, I'm gonna have to ask you to stick around a while longer.
I can't believe how well the whole Lynette's debut acting role thing worked out. Even the avant-garde box office is lapping it up.
How could I ever have doubted you? If you hadn't stuck to your guns and kept sending those invitations, this opportunity would have passed us by.
See? I told you. All the times she'd refused in the past were all the more reason to keep inviting her, because it turns into a big talking point. Can you imagine if you'd gone with Gillian? You'd have been lucky to get half the ticket sales you've ended up with.
Do you have a moment, Director Mario?
If it isn't the star of the show! We were just talking about you. Oh, and is that the legendary traveler with you?
Passive checks are special types of checks that need not to be actively triggered, but instead it will automatically trigger at specific times. Really? They got this too? Seriously? Okay. Inside check, this gentleman's expression seems a bit unnatural. Despite his effusive words, the look in his eyes suggests he's not quite so delighted with Lynette's newfound stardom.
We heard that the original script for The Lost Puppet was quite different from the final show. I'm kind of curious to know what the protagonist was like in that version.
Oh, well, this is a surprise. I didn't think you'd be interested in that sort of thing.
We'd still like to know. That may be the cause, one of the causes for the threat letter.
The protagonist has stayed the same from the beginning to end. A mechanical puppet with a bumbling body but a sensitive soul. A stranger in time who doesn't belong.
Not with the ending of the original script,
There's
though.
no doubt about it. You are the protagonist, and the protagonist is you. The success of one is the success of the other, and that's what made this show an artistic triumph. You shouldn't give your attention to early drafts of the script, Lynette. All it would do is sow confusion where you already have clarity. The current script is the final version because it is the best version, and your performance best brings that script to life. Why, if it weren't for you, I doubt any audience would give our show the time of day.
If everyone's happy with Lynette's performance, then how do you explain this letter?
What letter? Oh my goodness! Destroyed this work of art? Really?
We found it in the envelope containing the group photo. Could it be someone involved in the production?
Absolutely not! Without Lynette, this show would be over. Everyone's hard work would go to waste. No, there's no way that this is someone from the troupe.
Well, is there any way Lynette could lie low until this blows over?
Yeah, maybe Gillian could fill in for me for a while.
No way, out of the question. The protagonist has to be played by Lynette.
They're really rejecting her from the role.
She's just not what the audience is looking for.
The appeal? Really? Inside check, Mario's attitude suddenly changed and became a bit strange. Nair's eyes are darting around. He's lowering his voice.
I've got it. It's a competitor. Yes, this letter must
I think
be
he
from
has
a
an
competitor
idea.
of ours who's trying to get under Lynette's skin.
But he's not admitting it.
The moment you step back from performing, they'll put their rumor mill into overdrive and drag us through the mud. They're just waiting for their chance to kick us while we're down.
A competitor? Really?
I don't know.
Stay strong, Lynette, and keep up the good work on stage. I have to go and meet my friends from the newspapers now, but rest assured, I'll be discussing countermeasures with them.
So, a competitor, huh?
Do you think that's it?
I kinda doubt it.
Engie.
We've dealt with those types before. Usually their goal is to steal our venue for their own show, or to cover up a scandal by planting a story to divert public attention.
Not a threat letter.
But I'm actually more concerned about Mario. When I mentioned Gillian, his reaction was pretty unusual.
So you noticed that too?
Especially since Maloney mentioned that the initial plan was to cast Gillian as the lead.
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Sounds like there was an original protagonist as well as an original script. I should probably go talk to her.
Do you know where she lives?
Yep. She told me she lives in the Fleuve Sandra.
Oh, okay, that's where we're headed. Oh, there she is. Wait.
No.
Lynette, what are you doing? You're not welcome here.
Huh?
I've been to the Fleuve Sandra plenty of times before. This is the first I'm hearing about me not being welcome.
What's with the
Things
attitude?
are different around here. You might be used to a crowd of bootlicking morons fawning over you wherever you go, but not down here. We know what you are.
She's got a bone to pick with you, I guess.
I don't know. I've never met this kid before.
Gina, stop that!
Oh.
Go home now!
Gillian?
Gina. Younger sister.
No buts. How many times do I have to tell you? That had nothing to do with Lynette. If you don't leave right now, I swear I'll never invite you to one of my shows ever again.
Just because Lady Furina speaks highly of you, it doesn't mean you're all that.
A few more choice words from Gina and she storms off.
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child. That's why I never let her visit me at work.
It's okay. I have younger siblings too, so I get it.
We came to see you. Can we talk about the original protagonist?
I'm sorry. I never mentioned it because Director Mariyu was very clear that I mustn't let any of it affect you.
Circumstances have changed. Lyney received this letter.
What's this?
Inside check. Gillian appears surprised. The sender thinks that Lynette has destroyed the show. Could it have anything to do with the original script and protagonist?
I don't know. Who would do something like this? It's true. I was originally cast as the lead in The Lost Puppet. I've worked with director Mariyu many times before, but only in minor roles. The audiences and critics never had much to say about me. Nothing terrible, but nothing amazing either. A few months ago, Mariyu started working on a new show, so I plucked up the courage to ask him if I could take the leading role. He was hesitant, but he agreed to let me try for the part. We did a few rehearsals, everything seemed to be going okay, but then...
Lynette came along.
There's been a change of plan, Gillian. The leading role will now be played by Lynette.
Lynette? But she always turns these things down, doesn't she?
Well, that's because you guys kept sending her letters. The letter could also be from her younger sister then. Her tone before matched more of the letter.
Next time, the lead will be yours. I promise.
I was incredibly disappointed at first, but I also know full well that I don't have Lynette's star power. Without Lynette, how could we ever convince people to pay money to go and see a masked mime show? And if the show was a flop with me in the leading role, how would I answer to the director and the rest of the cast? Then, I got to meet you on stage and found that you're really down to earth, in a way that not many celebrities are. You were kind to everyone, and your performance wasn't bad. Whatever disappointment I had left at that point, I certainly wasn't about to take it out on you.
By wasn't bad, you mean it wasn't great either. So, I'm guessing Mariyu changed the script to simplify the protagonist, make her a dumbed-down version of the mechanical puppet that I could actually play.
How do we get our hands on the original draft? Who currently has it?
Jaik, one of the other actors. He likes to collect Dr. Mariyu's old drafts because he hopes to be a director himself one day. He also lives nearby. I can arrange for you to meet him at the tavern.
That'd be great. After waiting at the tavern for a while...
Here, this is the script you're after.
It's practically unreadable.
Now activating search mode. I'll go through one page at a time.
Investigation notes. Investigation, look for mentions of Mariyu. Search mode. Let's do number 6 from the right.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Fuck. Skimming through the early newspaper clippings, none of the headlines mentioned are. In more recent years, there are many reportings praising Mariyu as a forward-thinking director, one of the greats of his era. Wait, can I not do it again? Let's see the differences between the original version of Lost Puppet. Oh god, what's the cost if I fail these? I failed one already. Come on. Oh. Act 4 seems to be a solo performance by the protagonist, and the set is just some decrepit ruins. There's no saying. This will focus on the audience attention to the solo performer. Investigate official script this time. Come on. Yes! The reason it's so hard to read is that it's been edited with correction fluid multiple times. I'd estimate that each line was rewritten at least 3 times. Looks like Mariyu wasn't happy with his edits. Investigate old drafts. The script seems to be Mariu's older works. Some photographs of live performances are attached. Skim through. But I feel like the ones that need 15 are more important though. Oh! That's the second one we failed that needs a 15. The official script for Lost Puppet. How the dancing puppet's protagonist is rejected by humanity, then begins searching off with meaning of life. 2. Come on. Okay. In Act 4, the protagonist loses the ability to dance due to wear and tear in her circuitry. There's a note saying, some cursory movements to get the point across will suffice. The audience focus will be on the fancy set and the extras. Yeah, so Maloney wants this instead of the actor being the main focus. The basic plot isn't the same. She loses the ability to dance due to wear and tear in the circuitry, but there's more emotion behind the scene. The memory of her former companions coming to peace with her life. The simple set and solo performance means the lead actress has to carry the whole scene herself. It's a much more demanding role than in the final script.
Frankly, I think that the original script is much better, and the original lead is the best fit. Gillian, shall I go tell Mariyu to put you back in the leading role?
It'll never work. There's no way Director Mariu or Maloney would ever agree to it. The set for Act 4 would need to change, as would all the marketing materials. And that would mean asking Maloney for a lot more Mora. Changing actors at the last minute is just too risky. If anything went wrong, it could bankrupt the whole troupe. Plus, Maloney's friends have already published a ton of articles saying how this is the role that Lynette was going to play. No one else can play the protagonist now.
They're marketing Lynette more than they're marketing the show. That's so... Contemplation. Is there any other way? Oh, Oh, that's good. The only way for me to fail this is for me to get a number lower than 6. Oh wait, that was a 7. Oh, I thought that was a 1. You explain your idea to the group.
That's a bold plan. I'm in.
You know, it's a little crazy, but it might actually work.
Be honest. You still hope to play the leading role, don't you?
Gillian, you were more dedicated than anyone during the rehearsals for the original script. We all saw how hard you worked for this role.
And for her just to get informed that, oh no, someone else has taken your role. Whether the plan succeeds is up to you.
You guys...
Would we have gotten a bad ending if I failed the role check?
Okay, let's do it. I will play my part.
Hangouts don't usually have bad endings. The last bad ending I really actually got was the one in Yunjin's hangout. That shit came out of nowhere, bro. It's even worse because the bad ending of that hangout was the one I ended the hangout quest on.
Is this souvenir valuable enough for you?
What? No.
What about the threat letter? Do you have any idea who sent it?
As long as we stick to the plan, I'll give up the lead role, so it won't matter anymore, right? Who knows? Maybe it was just a fan of yours having a moment.
Well,
a fan of me?
Gina would be your biggest fan. Are you serious? Okay, 10. Okay, 10's fine. 10's fine. I don't think there's any solid evidence. Lynette grabs your hand and leads you out of the tavern. You seem to hear a sound. Oh, you notice a faint sound of sobbing in the corner as you're leaving the tavern.
I'm such an idiot.
Gina.
Sorry for manhandling you. You looked like you were seconds away from figuring out who sent the letter, so I had to act fast.
I wasn't.
It was Gina, Gillian's sister.
Furina hasn't released her official review of The Lost Puppet yet, which means Gina disobeyed her sister and secretly came to watch her at work.
I guess she must have snuck into the drinks reception and overheard our conversation with Furina. She idolizes Gillian, both as an older sister and an actress, and she watched as the dream role Gillian had been waiting to play for so long got snatched
Who would
away
be your
from her
biggest
by
fan?
some amateur who's never acted before.
Other than her own sister. It was too much for her to take. She wrote the letter in the fit of anger.
I was in Gillian's position once, back when Lyney and I were starting out, before we got famous. We just had to take things a day at a time, doing our shows, slowly trying to build up our reputation.
Now look at you. She must have been the one giving you that evil stare, right?
No, the way she looks at me is indignant, frustrated, but not malicious. Plus, she didn't even try to hide how she felt. Whoever was giving me that evil stare was backstage. Blending into the crowd at a drinks reception is one thing, but trying to blend in backstage, where everyone's on high alert waiting to be called on stage, would be a lot more difficult.
So there's another person.
On that note, guess I'll see you at the Opera House. Bye for now.
Why is it always a 2-day gap? It's always ever since you updated the clock. There we go, happy. 2 days later. Shortly after following Jack into the opera house, the curtains open and the show begins. Act 1. In the ruins.
That puppet in the middle. Is that Lynette? She's so pretty.
The protagonist, a dancer, has been abandoned in some ruins. She suspects it's because of health condition with her legs, which has affected her ability to dance. But then she finds the other abandoned puppets who look just like her. Only then does she realize her illness is just a mechanical breakdown, and she's just a dancing puppet.
Wow, I thought it would be hard to follow, but in the end, it was actually very clear.
Oh no, the filler NPCs are back with their blank death stares.
Even though her face was expressionless and she didn't speak the whole time, I felt like I could really understand how the protagonist was feeling.
Oh, they're gonna keep her masks the whole time, and then in the end, they reveal, oh, it's actually Gillian. Wait a sec, she can perform just as good as Lynette. Act 2, The Journey. Some mechanical puppets believe in a myth. At the end of the world, there's a god of puppets who can turn puppets into human beings. And so, the protagonist and her companion begin their quest. But the myth is a lie, spread by someone with nothing but contempt for puppet kind. At the end of their journey, they're kidnapped, dismantled, melted down, and abused. The protagonist helped her companions escape, but in the process became trapped under the rubble of a crumbling building. She closes her eyes and enters a deep sleep.
Director Merriu really is a master of his craft. And so is the actress in the lead role.
I have a friend who saw the show on the opening day. They thought the critics overstated how good it was, but I gotta say, the protagonist is incredible.
Act 2 closes with thunderous applause from the crowd.
I can't believe it's only been a few days since the last show. Lynette's improved so much.
I'd love to see their reaction when they realize it's not her. That would go against everything they're saying.
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? The first half was a huge success. Even I could tell the acting was top tier.
He can tell. He was there in the rehearsals. He would know.
While you're at it, this might be a good time to talk future.
Shut the hell up, baloney.
All we need to do is stick to the plan.
What is this plan that you're so intent on hiding from me,
Director Merriu, I thought you were talking to Maloney and the critics.
Désolé.
Was that really Lynette playing the lead role?
Well done, director. You saw through it. I mean, he would be the one, right?
Ta-da!
Lynette's not on stage. Merriu hears Lynette's voice behind him. Beside her is the protagonist, but without her costume and mask.
Director Merriu, I was the one playing the lead role just now.
I switched costumes and masks with Gillian so that I could be the protagonist's companion and stay out of the limelight.
Lynette, why on earth would you do this?
To prove that Gillian's just as capable.
The only reason I'm being seen as a pro, let alone a pioneer, is because you have critics supporting the show.
But right now, there's a whole audience out there, and you have no hope of paying them off.
If they'd seen me in the leading role during the first half, they wouldn't be expecting anything more, but what happens now that they've seen Gillian in the role? If you force me to play the lead in the second half, they'll be wondering, why is the actress suddenly giving such an underwhelming performance right at the climax of the whole story?
Or is this director not all he's cracked up to be? Is it because she's not good enough actress to play the role? Were the critics wrong?
These are just some of the questions that will be on everyone's minds during the second half, and those questions will follow them out the doors of the theater after the show ends.
You don't want the show to end on a sour taste. Do you think the critics will still have any credibility then? Does this count as blackmail?
If I keep Gillian as the lead for the second half, what do you think will happen in the curtain call when she takes her mask off? Everyone will see that we've changed actors. What will your fans think? They're only here because of you, and what about all the critics who support you? If we get on the wrong side of them, it'll be the death of the whole show. There'd be tickets to refund, fines to pay for breach of contract. The whole troupe's hard work would go down the drain. Don't you see how much this would cost us?
But my responsibility here is making sure you get back the role that belongs to you.
And I guess part of that responsibility lies with me, considering I badgered you into accepting the job.
Well, that him appearing from the card is kind of cool. Look who finally decided to show up. Did you bring all your props?
What's this?
A draft complaint letter, my contract, your legal fees, reimbursement for the tickets, and an advance on the penalty fee for breach of contract.
Oh,
Mr. Merriu, I'm stepping down from the leading role, regardless of whether you choose to cancel.
Oh shit! They prepared. 5 steps ahead. Gee.
I can't believe this. You're literally handing me a lawsuit against you with a straight face. All this Mora, it's a pittance to you, isn't it? Must be nice to have the luxury of prior success and fame.
Just
look at us. We're huge stars. One minute we want to go on stage. The next we feel like backing out of the contract. But that's okay. We're famous. We can afford it. You have no respect for other people's work. You're treating other people's hopes and dreams like a big joke.
Lynette's kind of tired of the whole thing, so I guess this means other people won't bother her anymore, other directors. But still, they mean well for Gillian.
You don't even care that the whole production might have to shut down because of you!
That's not true. I do care, and I'm under no illusion as to how much this show means to you. Your eyes tell a different story. The way you look at me, it's full of contempt.
Oh, it's Maryu giving her the stink eye.
A couple days ago, I asked some associates to do some digging for me. I was interested to know who else you invited to play the lead apart from Lynette. Surprise, surprise. Turns out that all the other famous actresses you asked either had prior commitments or weren't a good fit for the role. They all turned you down.
And I would have turned you down too, if not for an unlikely set of coincidences.
You didn't send those invitations because you were looking for a better actress than Gillian, but because your investor wanted a big name in your show, right?
It's clear as day that Gillian is an outstanding actress, but fame was the key factor, and that was the one thing she didn't have.
To get Maloney on your side, you chose to make Gillian the understudy, and then look for an opportunity for her to take the lead.
But then Lynette actually accepted your invitation, and her acting debut was sure to attract attention. Ultimately, you betrayed yourself by choosing Lynette.
I didn't betray myself.
Deep down, none of your current achievements really count as success to you.
Always appealing to the public.
Right now, you have an opportunity to send Gillian onto that stage and perform the second half as you always imagined it, faithful to your original script. Your work would be displayed for all of Fontaine to see.
It's actually like something you care about instead of, you know.
Did you say perfect?
Will you keep pursuing a kind of success that you don't even value at the cost of your own artistic integrity?
Or will you act now before Maloney and the critics can protest and make your dream come true on the stage? In fact, the dreams of the whole troupe.
Actually, most of the money Lyney brought came from us. We all chipped in.
Oh, wow.
We've worked with you for many years now. Your troupe has been here for you all the way from the empty theaters where we first performed to the opera house today. We watched as you slowly started down a path you used to despise, the path of powerful connections,
Yet they still
drinks,
followed you,
receptions,
you know,
backdoor deals with critics, and collaborations based on fame instead of talent.
But this is just a temporary measure. I did it for the good of the troupe. And besides, this is how the whole industry works. Everyone else is doing it.
If I had a penny of every acting troupe that we as the Traveler has assisted in helping with the other character in Fontaine, I'd have 2 pennies. You know, which is not much, but it's nice, and it happened twice. It's like the same thing with Furina's story quest, the little Oceanian. Although, you know, the troupe still ended up disbanding, but, you know, ended off on a good note. That's what I'm trying to say.
Maloney's friends are sycophants. They don't care if the audience is disappointed because the show doesn't live up to their glowing reviews. They praise the things they like and skirt around the things they don't.
I won't turn my back on my dreams any longer, Director Maryu. Never again.
Me neither.
Oh god, persuasion. Surely my one action isn't gonna affect the ending. The only way I'd fail this is if I get a 1. That was still low.
I had dreams too.
What would have happened if I failed that? Act 3. Amidst the rubble. An unknown period of time elapsed before a group of mechanical puppets finally cleared the rubble, freed the protagonist, and then reactivated her. They told her, "You have been buried here for thousands of years. The mechanical puppets now rule the world." It turned out that the puppets who had started the uprising were none other than the protagonist's companions, whom she had rescued all those years ago. The protagonist was now revered as a hero by all of puppet kind. The mechanical puppet asks the protagonist what she wishes for, but she only wishes for one thing.
Huh. The plot here seems a little different from what the reviews said.
The protagonist wanted to return to the stage, so the puppets replaced all her parts with the latest ones available, built her a grand opera house, and summoned a huge audience.
And in the end, she forgot herself amidst the applause and cheers of her fellow puppets.
Hey, no spoilers! Huh? Wait, hang on, that's not even what's happening. The set has changed back to the one from the first act.
Oh, Archons, please let this work out.
I believe that if we choose our words carefully, there's no reason we can't get Maloney to come around and keep the show going.
Lyney is putting his experience at fooling people to work.
But I'm not upset about what you've done. What's worrying me now isn't how Maloney will react or whether the show will get cancelled. It's the audience. I've always thought the original script is better, but will it move them like I've always hoped? When Gillian does her curtain call, will they applaud her?
We'll just have to wish for the best. Act 4, Amidst the Ruins. Original script. Protagonist rejects the other puppet's offer of new parts and a grand stage built in her honor. Her only wish is to see her companions again. But she is told that they gave their lives for the revolution. Their bodies lie buried in the ruins where they first met. The protagonist returns to the ruins alone, to where her journey first began. She performs one last dance before the graves of her companions. Her circuitry burns out and her parts come loose and fall up from her body. But she keeps dancing until her body completely shuts down. It has taken her thousands of years, but at last, she has finally found a reason for dancing.
Wow. Okay, this ending is much better.
I love how they brought back the set from Act 1 and gave it a whole new meaning. What a fantastic twist.
He's got the cat ears and the hoodies. That would have been a giveaway, actually.
It's the moment of truth.
Well,
Will the applause continue after I take off the mask?
I'd expect a few gasps here and there, but...
I could always leave my mask on. No one would ever know.
Nice, see? There we go.
This is what fame looks like when it's truly deserved.
It works.
Gillian, you were amazing! Cyril was tearing up when you did your final solo dance.
Well, so are you.
Really? I was so nervous. My legs felt like they turned to jelly.
See?
Hey, Mario! What the heck was that?
Oh, piss off.
Hold on. The decision was mine, and mine alone. They had nothing to do with it.
Good chap.
Marry you? So it was you? Well then, I trust you'll have no objection to me pulling the plug on this production.
Director Mariu, Mr. Maloney, what on earth is going on? Why was Lynette not in the lead role?
Lyney, it was all his idea. Mariu, explain yourself.
Lyney, as a matter of fact, this was a piece of performance art. In this play, the masks and costumes serve to obscure the differences between characters, and by extension, the difference between human and machine. We took that idea to the next level with an actor swap, blurring the lines between one performer and the next. So it's in service of the ambitious artistic goals of the production.
What? Hold up. What is this
That's a
nonsense?
good excuse.
Oh, I see. Well, bravo, Director Mariu. You even had me fooled.
That's probably more because you just don't really understand avant-garde art very well, Lyney.
Oh, he's dissing them now.
Maybe so, maybe so. Well, perhaps it went over my head, but I'm sure our experts here saw the whole thing coming a mile away.
You guys are connoisseurs, aren't you? I'm sure that will help Director Mariu by setting future audiences up for the surprise twist at the end.
Yes, you're right. Director Mariu and I are old friends. You should have said something. Then I could have played along even better.
Yes, well, to deceive the audience, you must first deceive your closest companions.
Unfortunately, I think Mr. Maloney is going to cancel the show.
Oh, if only.
Cancel the show? Mr. Maloney, is this true?
While I accept that deceiving the audience in the manner you did certainly has artistic merit, this is not a magic show, and we don't want our audience demanding their money back.
If that happens, we're prepared to reimburse and apologize to any audience members who
Don't think
weren't
anyone's
satisfied
refunding their
with the experience.
tickets. But based on their reaction today, I think that what most people want to see is an excellent piece of theater, and not celebrity cameos. Some reviews have said that Lynette's gave the performance of the year. Wouldn't you say Gillian's was the performance of a lifetime?
Maloney, I believe there should still be time to tweak my article. From the look on Lynette's face, I think she's being sincere.
One other thing, we managed to get a meeting with Lady Furina earlier. She agreed to write a review focusing on Gillian's performance and the quality of the show as a whole.
Oh, that'll be really good. Starface, Maloney leaves the critics in the low. You and Lyney express yourself and leave. The actors got a little look at the next show. Okay.
Gina? You snuck in? When? I thought I told you no visiting me at work.
I'm sorry, Gillian, but I had to come.
Well, she must have been happy with the performance.
Thank you both so much. Without the two of you, who knows how much further down that cynical path I would have gone.
At least you came to your senses just in time, and you got an amazing group of talented people behind you.
You're right. Yes, I'm a very lucky man. Enough about my problems. What are we going to do about the threat letter that Lynette received?
No, we know what that is already.
Lynette, do you have a moment?
Gina insisted on coming to see Lynette. I couldn't stop
An
her.
apology.
Lynette, I'm sorry!
Lynette just shot me a glance. I think she's unsure which mode to use in this situation. Performance. God damn. The one time I don't need you to overshoot.
Yeah, me neither.
Wait,
I don't know what you're talking about. Great to meet you, by the way.
We ran into you at the Fleuve Sandra, and you said some mean things to me. As I recall, you were only trying to look out for your sister. It was just a few words spoken in anger. Don't worry. Whatever it was you said, I've already forgotten. I understand that feeling of wanting to stand up for your family when they're being mistreated. Really, I do. But next time, maybe consider a different tactic. Something you can pull off more effectively, and without arousing suspicion.
Alright, that's enough. Stop giving her ideas.
got it.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Lynette.
It's group photo time. We have to commemorate the debut of the Lost
The
Puppet
director's
edition. Okay, everyone, we all have pretty awkward smiles on our faces in the photo from Hotel de Boer. So this time, no forced smiles allowed.
Oh, am I really not allowed to force a smile?
Is smiling tough for you? Just, you know.
I'll try, I suppose. I think I can manage.
3, 2, 1, smile!
Look at that. A roaring success. My line of sight was a little off. It's fine as long as your smile's genuine. Look at that, that's all nice. What a nice first ending. What the hell? That was a really good ending for my first path. I thought not getting to help Bonnie with the thing was gonna be a bit of a bum, but hey, I'll take it. This is a really good first route. Wait and see what things play out.
I was the one who wrote it.
What?
Oh.
Gina? So it was you?
Director, it's time for... Okay. Weird energy here.
Jacques, just stand back.
I think we came at a bad time.
Shall we hear what Lynette has to say?
Well, since I haven't actually suffered any losses, seeking redress could be difficult. Maybe we could just let this one slide. After all, Gina wouldn't be the first person to ever misjudge me, right?
True.
But still, I was wrong to write that letter.
Just
I
learn
should
your
own up to my
mistake.
actions. Make it up to you in some way.
If that's what you really want, then how about helping out backstage? Plus, it'll give your older sister a chance.
I mean, you want to see her perform anyway, right?
And stop you getting into any more trouble.
Sounds like a win to me. After a few days later, once you make your way to Opera House. Oh, you're finally awake. The show's about to start.
Is it? I I'm so much more at home here in the audience. I get to sit on a comfy seat.
We're in one of the
and
VIP
I don't have to activate my
seats too.
energy-consuming-
Sounds like Gina got more than she bargained for out of that backstage job. You gave her your supporting role in the play too. Oh, that's nice.
Mary
She gets to
said
act
she's a very
alongside.
promising young actress, and she has natural chemistry with her older
That's
sister.
so nice.
I'm happiest when I get to sit in a quiet place, watch them do their thing, and cheer them on.
Like you're doing right now?
Yep, exactly like I'm doing now.
Aw, okay. A seat in the audience. Where there is someone performing on the stage, there will always be others clapping in the audience. Like me. You go, Gina. You go, Gillian. Pretty much not a lot of deviation from this path. I'm glad. I really like this path. I didn't know it was going to be so good. Surely I'll be luckier this time. We just need higher than 5. Higher than 5. Go. Okay, thank you. God.
A few moments later.
Well, we've registered you as missing. You can stay at my place until your owner finds you.
Meow.
Well, I should probably head back to the drinks reception. Hopefully most of the people have left by now. If you've got some time, you should stop by my place tomorrow to see Bonnie. There's a nice cup of tea in it for you.
I'll be there.
Alright, see you then.
Interesting. So, in this route, does that whole thing even happen? I mean, if we follow the timeline of events, she should have still gotten the threat letter anyway? Like, does it still happen? Did that storyline just never play out? Oh, is she the owner?
I believe this cat belongs to me.
Bernand, director of the Humane Society.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
That is not how I expected this to play out.
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I came to retrieve her in his stead.
Inside, this lady's expression seems a bit unnatural. The way she speaks is loud and authoritative. It's like she's deliberately using her tone of voice to dispel any doubts about her integrity.
No, it's far more likely this cat escaped from the Humane Society.
The gentleman's expression seems a bit unnatural. The hesitation in his voice seems like he could be hiding something. His gaze keeps drifting off to the side. It's like he's trying not to draw attention to himself. How about we let Bonnie decide? Meow. Animal handling. It's an 8. I'm great with cats. See? Bonnie happily runs up to you and begins traveling through your legs.
Complicates things.
It seems she quite likes me. There's no way to tell who their owner is. Go cat chainsaw. My alter ego.
We're an organization that specializes in rescuing and sheltering stray animals. We've been in business for several decades now. I'm Bernard, the current director. Oh, nope. Looks like I was mistaken. They do look similar, but there's an ever so slight difference in this one's fur color. Deepest apologies, friends. Well, I suppose this means I still have a missing cat to search for. Apologies again for the confusion.
You were a little sus. So this is your friend's cat?
Yes, exactly.
Wait a second. You lied earlier, didn't you?
They both did, I think.
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to panic. But your breathing pattern hasn't changed one bit. In fact, it's been strangely calm and measured this entire time. It stands to reason, then, that your agitated behavior earlier was all an act. If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first chance you get. If you're a good guy, the most likely explanation is that you're a member of the Guards, or some similar organization.
Well, I have to hand it to you, Lynette. You're right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating a cross-border smuggling case. This cat here, Bonnie was her name? Well, her owner is one of the prime suspects of our investigation.
I think I may be wrong, but this sounds like either Beto or Clohan's English VA.
A couple of days ago, our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. That's most likely how he got separated from the cat. I just so happened to stumble upon your notice in the Steambird, so I decided to see if he'd come back for her. It looks like I overestimated him.
So what's being smuggled?
A new kind of illegal drug. Imitation synth.
Oh, fuck. Again? Oh, It's like cigarettes and then electric cigarettes. What a pain in the ass.
Criminals. The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. That's how we learned about Bonnie's owner.
Who is he exactly?
He's a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute. His name is Pierre. Pierre Lefevere, to be exact.
Lefevere.
You know? Lynn's expression seems a bit unnatural.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. In addition to the cat, he also had a pendant with him.
And a ruler.
It was only later that we realized the coat of arms on his pendant belonged to none other than the Lefevere family. One of the most infamous aristocratic families in Fontaine.
Could his family be hiding him?
That's not possible, actually. The Lefevere family has been gone for a long time.
Many years ago, several important members of the family, including the patriarch, were murdered by an assassin of unknown origin. From that point on, family's power and influence took quite the hit.
Oh, shit. These were the people that took them in first. And who are, like, you know, fucked up. No wonder Lynette reacted like that. I was like, why? What? Like, okay, it's not cool, but like, they managed to put this in the Hangout. That's, of course, they were treated so badly back then. They were almost gonna sell Lynette off.
Most of the remaining family members succumbed to sickness or hunger. The ones that survived are currently living out their days under a new identity.
You know what? Deserved.
There could be a chance that Pierre, or one of his accomplices, might attempt to get close to Bonnie. Now that you've been briefed on the situation, I was hoping you'd help us keep a lookout.
This little kitty is involved in all this. Meow. So we should keep Bonnie with us for the time being? Poor little thing. What's wrong? What's wrong? This trauma.
It's nothing. I'm fine.
It's really not.
It's just the head of the Lefevere family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me all those years ago. It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefevere family carriage. Whoever it was,
It was the family she was sent to. And she was a kid back then. God, people are so fucking disgusting.
But before anything worse could happen, Father intervened.
Then the assassin Elodie mentioned. Yeah, Sarlacino.
That's what led Lyney and I to join the House of the Hearth. After all these years, I never thought I'd hear the Lefevere name again.
You okay?
Don't worry about me. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself.
It's really not something you want to be reminded of.
I was just thinking about Lyney. He's been acting strange recently. He avoids me for days on end, consumes himself with some secret investigation, and then out of the blue pushes me to do that acting job.
You think he knows about Pierre?
It's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me away because he was afraid it would bring up some painful memories for me. It wasn't necessary, though.
He's looking out for you.
Even after all these years, he's still as overprotective as ever.
Are you trying to help out Lyney with this investigation? Or are you trying to prove yourself?
A little bit of both, perhaps. For the most part, though, I just have the sense that something's not right. Something isn't adding up about Pierre's story. I'm just not sure what.
I also want to know what secrets he's hiding. Sometimes you've just got to take the bull by the horns, right? Indeed. I know it makes sense, but the last thing I expected them to bring up in a Hangout event was something like Lynette's and pretty much the siblings' backstory. Saving up this Primogen. Oh!
Lynette, you're, not at rehearsal?
Haha, we're on to you, Lyney. We got your ass.
And that's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too
To be fair, the masked mime show turned out to be more than just a distraction. We meet again.
Nice to see you.
Hi.
I should clarify something. Mr. Lyney's here at my invitation, not the other way around. To borrow your expression, Miss Lynette, I suppose that would make him my assistant more than anything.
Are you here because of the Lefevere case?
So you've heard everything then?
Bit of a coincidence.
That's exactly why we're here. There's always been questions surrounding the fall of the Lefevere family. Some people even believe the House of the Hearth was involved.
What do you mean? No. No.
Whoever was behind it all was extremely cautious. They didn't leave a shred of evidence. This very fact, however,
leads me to believe it was indeed the work of that
Chevreuse, you're
harbinger.
too smart. Stop. I'm assuming you wouldn't be opposed to some extra help?
Not at all. I was planning to invite you from the very beginning, Miss Lynette. It's just that my assistant here raised some objections.
Too late now, boy.
Lyney, I'm not the same person I was back then. That little girl who did nothing but cower in the corner in fear. She doesn't need saving anymore.
I know you want to protect your little sister, but little sisters don't stay little forever.
I'm sorry, Lynette. You're right. I let my concerns get the better of me. Who's this? You pick up a stray while I was gone?
It's the cat that brought us here in the first place. Chevreuse and Lyney share with you what they've learned over the past few days.
It appears the Lefevere family was very particular in their use of insignias and emblems. The family would use different emblems to mark differences in status, blood relation, and the like. In fact, the insignia that was discovered on the pendant was used to represent an illegitimate child.
So that would mean Pierre is a bastard child?
It's highly likely. That very status might have been what allowed him to emerge from the fall of his family relatively unscathed. It would also explain why he was able to assume a new identity as a researcher with relative ease. Apparently, Pierre was once addicted to synth. He tried to use the resources at the Institute to create a substance with a similar effect. Other than the pendant, we didn't find anything else of note at his residence in Poisson. Based on the samples of imitation synth we've been able to analyze, it appears the substance leaves behind strong traces wherever it's produced or stored. Those traces might not be obvious to the casual observer, but they're not something our guard poodles would miss.
Let's get Baguette up in here.
If his reclusive nature was just a matter of keeping a low profile, I guess it would make sense for him to have a secret base to carry out his business.
You know Hotel de Boer, where I first found Bonnie? To get there from Poisson, you have to cross a stretch of ocean. It's not somewhere a cat could just wander off on its own.
A cat? You mean...
Yeah.
From what we've learned about Pierre's habits, he doesn't seem like the type to venture out without a purpose. So what you're saying, Lynette, is that Bonnie couldn't have gone missing in Poisson. If that's true, then...
She must have wandered off only after Pierre brought her to his secret base.
Exactly. Bonnie might even know where it is.
Animal handling. I can give it a go. Meow. Meow meow. Not a cat person, but... Exactly. Gonna manifest the go cat chainsaw inside me. Bonnie seems to understand what you want her to do. She flicks her tail, meow. Thanks, Bonnie.
Well, I've certainly never taken a witness statement like this before.
It's kind of like the parrot witness from Ace Attorney.
Wow, Lynette, you found this place so easily. If I thought there was any chance you'd say yes, I'd recruit you into the Special Patrol here and now. No questions asked. Aha! Just as we thought. This is where the imitation synth was being made. In addition to the raw materials needed to synthesize the substance itself, there's a large quantity of cleaning agents and a few drugs I haven't been able to identify. These cleaning agents are likely used to dispel traces of the substance, like its smell. The Special Patrol did some digging into imitation synth. Our records indicate that it's very difficult for ordinary people to detect traces left behind by the stuff. I'm sure that was the case for Pierre as well. It must have taken a considerable amount of time and skill to ensure all those traces get washed away. But what are these other drugs for?
The material these bags are made of, it's quite rare.
Doesn't it look similar to the material used for your magic pockets? Does it?
It's the very same, actually. Romaritime flower fiber.
Oh.
But there's something special about the composition of these bags. I took a closer look, and it appears they're not only waterproof, but also corrosion and leak resistant.
Some good bags.
Even the strings look specially designed to keep the bags closed nice and tight.
So, kind of like one of those small sealed bags.
Very similar, actually. Normally, it would be easy for a guard poodle to sniff out the imitation synth, but if it was sealed away in a bag like that, it might be possible to elude detection.
God, he's taking a lot of precaution, this guy. Examine the barrels. The barrels show signs of water damage. Dried up water stains can be seen around the circumference of the barrels. There seems to be a pattern to the location of the water stains. For some reason, they appear to be limited to the lower half of the barrels. The lids don't seem very tight, leaving sizable gaps around the edges, but there doesn't seem to be any traces of water inside the barrels.
Only the lower halves of the barrels appear to have been submerged in water.
Based on the various ingredients we've found, this appears to be where Pierre was cooking up his imitation synth. The cleaning agent and the sealed bags might get past the guard poodles, But if a member of the public or even a guard on patrol happened to see him during the drop-off, a quick search would reveal everything. That's still a very risky operation.
What about if the drop-off happened at sea? There'd be no one around to see him.
The barrels we found were wet around the base, but the top half was dry, as if they'd been standing upright in the water. If you put a barrel in the water, it will normally float on its side, unless it's heavily loaded, in which case it'll sink.
So he must have used something to tightly seal the bags full of air, turning them into airtight flotation devices.
Traveler, can you come take a dip in the sea with me? I have a feeling that somewhere down there, we might find some rope. If a rope can be used to keep a pet from running away, then why not a barrel?
Yeah? Oh, it's anchoring something down. You got great drawing skills, Lynette.
With this anchoring system, it would be possible to use floating barrels for the drop-off. You would just need to drop them in the water at the agreed-upon location.
Based on the evidence we've collected, it seems like Pierre would row a small boat out to the agreed-upon transfer point, drop off the barrels, leave, and then row back and retrieve them after the transfer was complete.
Why use such a convoluted drop-off method, though? Wouldn't it be easier for both parties to meet up at the transfer point on their respective vessels and exchange the goods right there and there?
It could be that he was trying to avoid meeting up with his associate face-to-face. As one of the sole survivors of the Lefevere family, maybe he was just used to that sort of elusive lifestyle.
It seems like Pierre deliberately chose the floating barrel method so that the goods could be dropped off and picked up at separate times. That way, the two parties wouldn't have to meet each other.
Let's say for now that he was only in charge of producing the imitation synth. That would mean there has to be at least one other person involved in the operation, likely in charge of transporting the goods across the border.
That explains why we couldn't find evidence linking him to any overseas operations. He handed it to someone else.
Before Pierre disappeared, we made sure to investigate all sorts of outward-bound vessels. We also had port authorities keep a lookout for anything suspicious. They must have found a way to disguise the imitation synth to clear port inspections.
Well, even if we can't find any travel logs, we can still search for other clues.
Exactly. We can't let any opportunities slip through the cracks. Although, given the amount of ports that could be involved, we should probably split up. Lynette, Traveler, why don't you head to Lumidouce Harbor and see what you can find out?
Alright, sure.
Come on, Bonnie. You too.
Meow.
Oh, Lynette, Traveler. And Bonnie, too. What brings you all here?
You update them on the situation.
Oh, thank you for everything you're doing for the people of Fontaine.
What are you doing here?
I'm in charge of guarding the port. You mentioned you were after some travel logs, right? I can go fetch those for you.
Looks like I've got another hard day of work ahead of me.
Are things usually pretty hectic around here?
No, not usually. It's this incident that happened recently. For that, everything was normal. All we had to do was confiscate anything suspicious and we could call it a day. Pretty simple stuff.
I love the default explain animation for them.
But things are much more complicated now. We somehow let suspicious cargo pass through the port undetected. Not even our guard poodles were able to sniff it out. Even worse, we still don't know how the perpetrator was able to conceal the goods so well.
So what happens to the goods you confiscate?
Oh, we keep them in a storage locker. If they turn out to be something particularly dubious, we'll turn them over to the Maison Orderly.
Sorry for the wait. These are the travel logs for all the recent activity at the port.
Gerard.
Oh, you brought Gerard with you.
Gerard.
Actually, he followed me here himself. It's like he smells something on me. I wonder why Gerard is reacting to you two so strongly.
Could be because we just left the place where imitation synth was made. Whatever Gerard smelled on you probably came from us.
Huh? We were so careful not to touch it, but we still ended up with traces on us. If it leaves a residue so easily, I just don't understand how the culprit was able to disguise the goods at all.
You flip through the numerous travelogues, you notice several instances with human societies listed. The name really seems to stand out. Oh. So that's why the other guy was looking for the cat.
Their name is all over the exit logs. The purpose for leaving is always listed as overseas adoption.
The director of the organization explained that, actually.
Oh boy.
He said a lot of the cat and dog breeds unique to Fontaine are also very popular overseas, so his organization offers an overseas adoption program.
Please don't tell me that that's just a front and you're instead shipping drugs. It seemed as if Bernard was also hiding something. He seemed so insistent, but only ran a cursory check before just leaving like that. When he came looking for Bonnie earlier, what if he wasn't actually there to check if Bonnie was his missing cat? What if he was there for some other purpose?
Have you figured it out too, Traveler? The way the criminal disguised the goods? When Bernard asked to take a closer look at Bonnie, he was actually checking whether there was any imitation synth in her stomach.
What do you mean, stomach?
The sealed bags we found at the secret base. They were specially made to be corrosion resistant.
How do they extract the bags?
There were gaps around the lids of the barrels, and airbags were used to keep them upright in the water.
So the animals would be able to breathe.
Those drugs Chevreuse found at the secret base. She most likely didn't recognize them because they're not used on human beings. It's an anesthetic used on pets. The perpetrator must have given it to the animals.
So that they would keep still in the floating barrels. But how do they extract the packages in their stomachs?
The sealed bags combined with an animal's body odor would certainly be enough to mask the scent of imitation synth.
It's not what I think it is, right?
Just imagine. He sees the notice we put in the Steambird, and it turns out that one of the very cats he gave to Pierre for the smuggling operation is out in the open, roaming the streets of Fontaine. If Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth, then Bonnie would practically be living proof of their crimes. He would have had no choice but to go after her. We've already proven how easy it is to pick up trace amounts of imitation synth, so I'm sure Bernard was taking all the precautions he could to avoid the same fate.
Okay. Then, let's head to the Humane Society right away and bring that guy to justice.
I'm really concerned. Ugh, people are so fucked up, bro. They're pets. Seriously, that's what you thought of.
Ah, you're the people from earlier. Wait, you're from the guards?
Hey, sir.
After him! We can't let him get away!
You know, good thing that Lynette has this skill. Bernard, easy.
Give it up, Bernard.
Mercy. Have mercy. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything I know.
Tell me what the hell you're doing to those animals.
Look, I didn't have a choice, okay? My father cared about those blasted animals so much, he didn't bother to take care of his human wife and son at all. While those animals were showered with love, I lived worse than a dog.
No one asked. Tell me, how did you first get to know Pierre?
After I took over the Humane Society, it gradually became harder and harder to maintain its operations. Until one day, someone suddenly passed me a letter. It said that I could stand to get a large sum of money as long as I helped them to transport some animals abroad. It was only after a few such transports that I finally understood what I was really transporting.
You stuck with it, though.
Pierre wrote to me, saying that we were already partners in crime and that I better keep cooperating with him if I didn't want to be reported to the guards. I would order wooden barrels and flotation devices according to his instructions, and then load the sleeping animals onto a boat. Once I sailed to the location he provided, I would dump everything together into the sea.
Lynette was rather spot on with the barrel thing.
That guy, Pierre, he was running the entire show. He set up all the meeting times and found all the foreign adopters. Oh, and he even supplied all of the goods too. I just did the transport. He was the one who planned out and executed everything else.
So where is he now?
Look, I don't know, okay? I've never ever met him in person. We've only ever communicated through letters.
And when did he send his final letter to you?
Just last night, he said that the Marechaussee Phantom is now after him, so he's planning to go into hiding for some time. He didn't mention where he's thinking about going, though, but he did tell me to look out for the guards.
So where's that letter now?
I burned them. It was on his orders. I had to burn every letter after reading them. I wasn't even allowed to share them with the rest of the society employees.
We can check the truth of your statements at the Opera House.
Hope
I
you like
know
jail
what'll
time.
be coming for you if I were to find any discrepancy between the evidence and the testimony you just gave.
I know. I swear I was just telling the truth.
I My thanks to you both. Had it not been for you, I really don't know what would have happened to this case.
Bonnie helped, too.
Meow. That's true. It was all thanks to her that Bernard was finally exposed.
Good job, Bonnie. Bonnie suddenly runs and hides behind you and Lynette.
And it looks like she's grown quite fond of you two as well. Then I'll leave you be. Just let me know if you find any other new leads.
Lynette's expression seems a bit unnatural. It seems that Lynette still has something on her mind.
Now behave, and follow me to the interrogation room.
Ow! That hurt. Ow!
They're about to leave. Is it really okay to let them go? Contemplation. 20. Fuck. We can leave Bernard's interrogation to the guards.
Is everything really over? I still feel like the relationship between Pierre and Bernard is not as simple as it appears. Also, I've had this strange sense that something's off the entire time we've been on the case, and it has only gotten worse.
Oh, wow. That's the first heart we lost.
No good. I've still got nothing, and I'm nearly out of energy.
Oh, that was 3 dialogues and we're down to 1 heart. Don't force yourself.
Alright, I'll stop thinking about it, for now. At the very least, we've made it so that no more animals will suffer like those poor animals did. And that's what I hope.
Meow.
Let's go to the Humane Society and see if there are any animals left that might still need our help before my energy for today completely runs out.
Oh, Garfield, save the kitty. The truth remains submerged in the dark undercurrents, yet hope already lies beyond the cage. Was that the other ending really based off of the card roll? We need to score a 20. Oh, so close. Fuck. Maybe we gotta talk to Lynette first, and that way we can boost the chance a little, because Lynette is there.
We investigated so quickly that perhaps we've missed a thing or two along the way. Let me activate deduction mode and consider things
How many
again
modes
from
do
the
you
top
have?
to see if we can find anything new. Is there still anything unresolved or strange that we should try to consider?
About what we found in Poisson.
The Marechaussee Phantom found Bonnie and the Lefevere pendant at Pierre's residence. That was the beginning point of our investigation.
Oh, why is Pierre a suspect? The end of Lefevere. The Lefevere family is infamous in Fontaine, and even their innocent scions became targets of revenge, but Pierre just carried the pendant with him as if it's an ordinary piece of jewelry. Associates. Initial suspicions. Pierre became the key suspect in the case because of a suspicious cat and a suspicious pendant. Submit.
Why would he leave such an obvious trail for us to follow when he took so much care to not leave any traces of imitation synth in his home?
About Bernard's letters.
Bernard claims to have received a letter last night from Pierre. In the letter, Pierre stated that he had gone into hiding. Is there something wrong with the letter?
The letter's purpose. If the point of the letter was to tell Bernard to get on his guard, then why didn't he also warn him about Bonnie?
If Bonnie had imitation synth in her body, then she was a liability that had to be recovered at all costs. But if she wasn't carrying anything, then it would have made sense to tell Bernard not to worry. And thinking about it, Bernard only attracted our attention in the first place because he came to look for Bonnie. Could it be that the person who wrote the letter also knew nothing about Bonnie's whereabouts? Or they had a separate goal entirely?
There's an unexplained part in the operations of the trafficking ring. Connections. Any past member in the Lefevere family will probably have a number of connections outside of Fontaine.
There's no need to rush. Let's see if we can find any other suspicious points about this case.
Yes! 22! Hold it right there.
Is there something else you need from me, Traveler?
Bernard and Pierre, they weren't really acting alone, were they?
Huh?
I see. It all makes sense now.
What?
Hey, what are you talking about? Look, even our confessed criminal here has no idea what you're saying.
You? Elodie?
It's like he smells something on me.
You were in charge of checking the boats, weren't you? You could have totally passed it off.
Because he has been kept in the dark all along. And I assume it's the same with Pierre.
Bernard thought he was communicating with Pierre, and Pierre thought he was taking orders from Bernard, but they never met up face to face. But for all this time, neither of them knew that there was a third person all along. They were both being exploited.
Why did Pierre feel compelled to return to his home with Bonnie and the pendant, and make them so easy to find for the Marechaussee Phantom?
Because they aren't the main players in the thing at all. They can just take the fall for someone else. Any animals Pierre received from the floating barrels should have been taken directly to his base. And considering his precautious situation, the pendant should have been the last thing Pierre would leave lying around.
Both of these things are in stark contrast to his usual meticulous and vigilant behavior. There's only one reasonable explanation. He was following orders, just like Bernard. He probably received the following instructions right before the Phantom came knocking on his door. Bring the cat and the pendant, and our undercover agent will be sure to help you. Unbeknownst to him, however, the third person who wrote that letter to him had long decided to sacrifice him and Bernard to save themselves.
They instructed the two men to communicate through letters and barrels specifically so that they never get to meet each other. Honestly, this third person probably planned to sell both of them out from the very beginning.
What? You can't be serious. There was a third person involved?
But that doesn't make any sense. If that's the actual truth, then as soon as Pierre is caught, he'll explain his side of the story and the third person will...
Yep, which is why the third person made sure that Pierre would never be found again.
Oh my god. Was that man already 6 feet under? Then they ambushed Pierre and made him disappear into the dirt.
All the third person would have to do from that point on would be to lead the Phantom to investigate the Humane Society and get Bernard to confess the truth.
Bernard would then testify that Pierre was the one who came up with the whole plot, and Pierre would have been seen as hiding in anticipation of getting caught.
Wait.
I'll get back to headquarters right away and reinvestigate this case from the top.
Not so fast. Why not we call Chevreuse over, you know? Stay right there, Elodie.
Someone among us, however, has been feeding us all kinds of preconceived notions ever since our first meeting. They suggested that Pierre's disappearance was an attempt to escape the judgment of the law, and that Pierre was a scion of the Lefevere family. But if the disappearance is truly just a cover-up for a murder, then couldn't the true scion have been an illegitimate daughter, rather than an illegitimate son?
Miss Elodie Lefevere. Wow.
As someone accustomed to acting from behind the scenes, you didn't want to take the risk of personally proposing a raid on the Humane Society. So, you thought about pulling a few more strings, so all of the suspicion would point towards Bernard and his society.
A great option, of course, would be to dispose of Bonnie and leave her body at Pierre's base in anticipation of a later discovery.
Once the Phantom expanded their search, it would only be a matter of time before they found Pierre's base. If a cat last seen with the suspect turned up dead at the imitation synth base, it wouldn't be long until the Phantom would figure out exactly how she had been mistreated and turn their eyes towards the one organization that has been sending boatloads of animals out of Fontaine.
However, something unexpected happened at the base. Bonnie managed to escape in the chaos.
It was probably during your ambush of Pierre. You didn't even have the time to check if she had already been stuffed full of imitation synth.
You poor thing. Why are you wrapped up in all of this, you poor little fella?
Still, you soon found another
I really thought she was a good person.
Before long, Bonnie had made her way back into the city, and even popped up on the Steambird. Like Bernard, you desperately wanted to confirm the contents of her stomach, so you hurried to find us. Unlike Bernard, however, you were hoping that Pierre did have the time to make her swallow a load of imitation synth.
But you can't make yourself known to who you are. You can't let them know you're the third person.
You manipulated the Traveler and I to help you identify Bernard as a key suspect.
You knew Lyney was investigating the case with Chevreuse, and you also knew that Lynette's previous encounter with the Lefevere family.
You used the Lefevere name as bait to get us to join your
That's
investigation.
so dirty.
With 2 extra bodies around, the Special Patrol is sure to soon take note of the strange
Wow.
event of Bernard somehow having a reason to look for Pierre's cat.
You exploited that trauma of hers.
And what are you trying to suggest with that?
I am insinuating that you had plenty of opportunities to transfer the raw materials for imitation synth from the harbor to a boat, and then sail over to the meeting place full of floating barrels.
Once Bernard had placed animals in the barrels, you'd open the lids and also dump in the raw materials. As long as you did it before Pierre came for his pickup, there'd be no one the wiser.
And that's how neither the trafficker nor the manufacturer knew there was a third person who supplied the raw materials and surreptitiously operated between them.
First, you got in touch with both parties and secured the raw materials. Then you instructed Bernard to prepare the floating barrels and the animals. After that, you slipped the raw materials into the barrels next to the animals and requested that Pierre pick it up at the base and pick it back to his base.
Having received the green light from you as Pierre, Bernard then retrieved his animals and shipped them out of Fontaine once he had received enough for a full batch. This is the truth behind your smuggling ring. So what do you think she's going to say next?
Ever thought about a career in writing crime novels?
Ever thought about a career in writing crime novels, huh? How absurd. And on what grounds will you order my arrest? Don't think for a second that your spouts of nonsense will amount to any kind of real argument.
Yeah?
After all, I'm
Elodie Lefevere!
Oh, thank you for finishing that, by the way.
As the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, I hereby declare you as a suspect in the case. If you have any objections, you may raise them later during interrogation.
Chevreuse, Lyney.
Apparently, you often used all kinds of excuses to swap your shifts. And if one were to match the times of your shifts to the activities of the Humane Society and those of certain foreign ships,
very easy to pinpoint.
They'd find them to be an exact match.
That's just a coincidence.
Alright, just come quietly at this point.
The Lefeveres were infamous for using disguise and infiltration to achieve their goals. Who would have thought that they would have planted someone within the guards? You actively participated in the interrogation, arrest, and judgment of the Lefeveres during their fall, thus clearing yourself of suspicion.
You are so devious.
So you played me like a fool after all?
Look, Bernard is suddenly knocked out by a sudden strike.
What was that word you used? Ally? You think that someone as foolish as him is worthy to call himself my ally? They were worthless scum. All of them. Not just Bernard and Pierre, but those Lefeveres too. They always just saw me as a tool. I lost all my chances of a normal life just because I was born into their lot. No one asked. Do you know anything about what I've been through over all these years? My life as the last Lefevere?
I don't. And neither do I care.
And no one asked about your past.
Are you for real? Aren't you a Lefevere victim too?
You're the only one still living under the shadow of a name.
What a joke. What a joke! Hey!
What the?
Don't come any closer.
This device seems a bit odd. Yet no shit. The small device that Elodie took out appears very crude. It's made from paper mache.
Know what this is?
Oh. Oh.
I've secretly planted loads of explosives in the Humane Society. Just one step closer and...
Hey, smack that shit out of her hand.
Whether they're cats, dogs, or just unlucky human employees.
Jeez, did you see how she looks like right
They'll
now?
all be blown up into smithereens. Surely, you bunch of goody two-shoes won't let that happen, right?
That is so convincing, ma'am. Take an acting career. Deception, holy shit. Oh shit. She deserves to be intimidated. Oh, we were just on it. Oh.
Do you know what would happen to you if you were to run away now? The entire Special Patrol would be out hunting for you day and night, to the ends of the world.
All of Fontaine would know that a spawn of Lefevere still lives among them.
Would you rather go back with me now and wait for a trial? Or wait for your enemies to find you and subject you to the same interrogation techniques that your relatives were once infamous for?
Brutal, huh?
No, I can't.
There you go. You're okay now, little buddy?
Thank you for your help, everyone. I'll take them back for thorough questioning and find someone better to take over the Humane Society. I might need a few statements from everybody. Would you be able to come with me?
Sure.
If statements are all you need, can Lyney provide them on my behalf?
You've had enough to have tea, right? Are you
A lot has happened since then. I'm referring to when I invited you over for some tea and also to spend some time with Bonnie.
My bad. Haha, look at you fools. Oh my, we missed so much by not checking again in the other ending. You can even say the other ending for this route is the bad ending. This is... what? the fuck? Really? It's the guard. Bunny.
Black tea and a cute kitty. Truly the best combo for standby mode. Want some?
A cute kitty, please.
Great answer. That'd be my pick too.
Yay, kitty.
Had we not run into that case, we could have spent the entire day like this. But now I'm running low on both time and energy.
The key isn't how long you'd spend in standby mode. With quality time, you should be able to recharge more quickly.
You're right. I can sense it. I'm recharging very quickly at the moment.
I still have a question though. When did you start to suspect Elodie?
Something about her rubbed me the wrong way since the very beginning. But to be more precise, it was probably around the time when I saw Bonnie try to get away from her.
After you arrested Bernard? Back then, Elodie tried to get close to Bonnie.
Not everyone who likes cats is a good person. But if cats like you, you're probably alright.
Fair enough.
Humans tend to overthink things, but cats rely on their instincts, and they're pretty sharp. I mean, just look at Bonnie. She took a liking to you the moment you met.
And there it is. Adventures, investigators, and cats. Your story has come to an end. For now. What a complex storyline for this one. What the hell? I didn't expect it to spin into another plot twist in and of itself here. I can't decide between which one now. Okay, let's just get last ending. What is it I'm supposed to do differently? How about you do neither?
Huh?
If it was that urgent, someone would have come looking by now. That applies to both your troupe and the Bonnie's owner. But both of those are pretty much very crucial events that you probably shouldn't ignore.
Is that really okay?
Yeah. Meow. Persuasion. We got a pull 10. Easy. Oh my. We're gonna pull a 10. Let's go. Hey. A 20. Gah!
You make a good point.
You can just stick around here for a while, so if anyone does come looking for you, they'll find you.
Assuming Bonnie hasn't strayed too far from where she went missing, there's a chance we might bump into her owner in either the Steambird offices or the restaurant.
Owners. More like...
Stick around here in standby mode? Yeah, that suits me.
If you're going to standby mode, shall we find some cat food?
Oh, good idea. Bonnie's definitely hungry.
If we're getting some cat food, shall we get some snacks for us too?
May as well. We could be here a while.
Well, since we got some cat food and snacks, let's find a place to chill.
When I was trying to find somewhere I could space out earlier, collect my thoughts, I figured the cafe might be a good shot. Alright then. Plan of action, spend the whole day spacing out. In standby mode.
That is a quick ending. Speedrun. Yeah. Standby mode. Doing nothing is the happiest thing. Bruh, okay. God, that is a speedrun, huh? It didn't even lead to any storyline or whatever. No context, no theater troupe, no drug trafficking. Yeah, so what a nice and short hangout. Didn't overstay its welcome, and had two great storylines going for it. I think I give it a good 9 at least. It's a very good hangout. It's a good step up from the ones we've been having in the past. I mean, there were the nice ones as well, but and the whole new BG3 thing was a pretty fun addition. I get how some people can find it kind of annoying, but I think it's a pretty fun addition, right? Oh, which ending do I deem canonical? The detective storyline was really good in its own way. Focus on all the twists and stuff. It was a very convincing detective arc. But IMO. I do like the theater troupe storyline more. Likely the group photo ending. I'm really impressed with how they did this hangout. It's very cool. Two great stories to follow, and all wrapped up nicely for a hangout. I didn't expect this much, to be honest. It exceeded my expectations. What can I say? That's the hangout done for Lynette. I really hope they stick with this formula, or at least as in innovate upon the hangout tradition, right? Something like the RNG thing. So those of you YouTube frogs on YouTube, let me know what you guys thought about the Lynette's Hangout event. Do you think it's better than the ones we've had before, or do you like the previous format more? What you guys thought about each ending? Which one was your favorite? Do feel free to tell me that as well. But enough of that. Thank you guys for watching today for Lynette's Hangout. Everyone have a great weekend, rest of the weekend, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.